Alright, so for my project I made a very simple headphone amplifier, something that essentially takes typically a weak audio source, signal from a weak audio source, something like your phone maybe, or a laptop, or a weaker Ultrabook maybe, and amplifies that signal. So it essentially turns the volume up, so that your weaker source doesn't have the capability to drive headphones of a higher resistance or higher impedance, sorry. That can be very useful in that kind of scenario. So essentially, it just takes an input, the stereo plug right here on the left, and then the output is going to be the other stereo plug all the way to the right. In between, of course, you have the op amp, the LM4562NA op amp, and that is I basically am using a 9-volt battery, a 9-volt source to power that. It does have two different inputs for two different essentially gates on the inside of the op amp. So the top half is going to be using the first two inputs, and the bottom half is going to be using the second two inputs. Essentially, the top half is going to be the first channel, second, and the bottom half is going to be the second channel, left to right, because it is a stereo op amp. That's why on the diagram that's included, it's essentially going to be the diagram of just one half, which is duplicated for the second channel. And it is using, besides just a handful of resistors, like 4 different types of resistors, and one type of 100 picofarad capacitor. It is a very basic setup, and essentially from the testing that I've been able to do, I can get a signal through, so it is working, it is functional, but unfortunately there's a lot of static, and I'm assuming that's due to the breadboard or possibly the wires that I have. They are not the best quality wires. And also the fact that my ground, it is connected to the negative terminal, but it's not the ground for the stereo plugs, for whatever reason, is very cheap. The outer rims on these plugs are not very functional, so it is getting in the way. And I'm assuming the static is coming from that. At first I thought it was the capacitors, but that wasn't the case after I changed them. So basically that is the setup. It's a 9-volt, it's powered by a 9-volt battery, and the two outputs go to the other stereo plug, and you plug your headphones in right there, and essentially you can listen to anything that has a weak signal. You keep the volume down on whatever your audio source is, and then let this do the driving. Especially useful for like really high quality or on-ear, over-the-ear headphones. Thanks again, and thank you for watching.